Hi everyone, in this video we are going to look at one of the basic and important topic in networking, that is straight through cable versus crossover cable. What is the difference between these two cables? Where are we using them? Are we still using them? So I'm going to answer all these questions in this video. I am also going to use Cisco Packet Tracer to show you how we use these cables in a real live environment, because Cisco Packet Tracer can simulate the real networking environment. So in this diagram, this is the straight through cable, this is the crossover cable, and you can see 568B, 568A, 568B. These are the cabling standard ANSI use for Ethernet cables. So first we need to understand what these standards are. As I said before, this is an ANSI standard used for structured cabling or horizontal cabling. When I say horizontal cabling or structured cabling, that is the cabling we use to run between your Cisco switch, that means the IDF, and your data jack where you connect your computers and phones. This 568A and 568B show you how this patch cable, this Ethernet cable, connected to the RJ45 pins. So basically they show you the pinouts. In the straight through cable, both ends are configured in the same way. You can see the colors are arranged in the same way. But if you look at the crossover cable, one side is A type, one side is B type. You can see the colors are arranged in different way. So let's go back to our first picture, and now you can see straight through cable has both sides configured in the same coloring or pinout order. And in the crossover cable, one side is A, other side is B. If you go to a store, you are going to see this type of cable as your patch cable. When you go to a Best Buy or any kind of computer store and ask for a patch cable, they are going to give you this kind of cable. It is either A or either B on both ends. Only network and IT administrators are using crossover cables. Normally these crossover cables are red in color, and it is written down in a label here saying it is crossover. But in the straight through cable, you don't see the label as straight through, because 99.9% of the cable out there are straight through cables. Now we go and find out what are the applications of this straight through cable and crossover cable. The rule of thumb is you use straight through cable between unlikely devices: switches, routers, switches, computers, switches, servers. This is hub computers, hub servers, and we don't use hubs anymore. All we use now are switches. And when it comes to crossover cables, if you have likely devices, you need to use crossover cables. That means connection between switches, switches and hub, hub to hub, routers to routers, router to computer, and computer to computer. But are we still using crossover cable? Because most of you are not hearing much about crossover cable nowadays, because latest Cisco switches can detect the cable type and the device type and configure the port accordingly, so the connections are made without any problem. For example, if you use a crossover cable to connect a computer to a switch, the switch port will detect it is a crossover cable and configure the connection accordingly, so you can establish a connection without a problem. So you can basically interchangeably use crossover cable and straight through cable. Cisco switch can detect them and reconfigure the connection accordingly. This automatic cable detection feature on the Cisco switchboard is called Auto-MDIX, which means automatic medium dependent interface crossover. This feature is enabled in the Cisco switch and all the ports by default. So let's go to the packet tracer and see how this works. Let me put some devices here. Let's connect them together using different kind of cables. So you go here to the connection type. If you use this one, this will automatically choose the connection type for you. In this case, we are going to manually pick our cable type. So let's start with the console cable, and you connect this computer to RS-232 port, and you come here and connect that to the console port. And let's go to the straight through cable and connect this PC fast Ethernet 0 to gig 101. And you can see this connection is red because I did not put power supplies to this switch. Now I'm going to use crossover cable to make connection between these two switches. Let's go to gig 1024 and gig 01. And now we connect this router to the switch. These are not likely devices. For that, you have to use straight through cable. In this case, you have to go into the router and unshut the port to bring the connection. You can see it is shut down. T int gig 000 no shut. And now you see it is coming back online. Now all of them are connected. So let's bring in another computer here and use a crossover cable to connect that to the switch and see what happens. So let's bring another PC, go to connections and take a crossover cable, fast Ethernet 0 and connect to this one. You can clearly see even the crossover cable make the connection without any problem. So let's go to this switch and disable Auto-MDIX. So this is port number gig 102 int gig 102 no MDIX auto shut no shut. And now you can see this port won't come up. It is red now. Do a fast forward, still red. So now you understand how Cisco has implemented this Auto-MDIX to detect the cable for you. So you do not have to worry about whether you are plugging in a straight through cable or crossover cable. So the switch will detect the cable type and configure the connection accordingly. So you have connection all the time. If this video is useful to you, give me a thumbs up. Also, if you want to see more useful videos like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification.